Hi, I'm Ozzy Valito, Group Fitness Director here at Elite Athletics with Michael Parker, our General Manager here. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Michael is a credentialed nutritionist. So we thought we'd go around and ask a few questions in regards to nutrition and maybe answer some questions that are on people's minds. What do you think?
I think it's a great idea.
All right.
I like it.
So, question one. How important is when I eat?
That's a good question because it kind of depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So it would depend on your sport, it depends on your level of activity, it depends on your pre-existing conditions, and it always depends on your goal or timing. So let's just talk about like a general weight loss client, right? Somebody who's really just trying to keep life equal. Really, food timing becomes almost as important as the actual nutritional density and caloric deficit in the program. So what I've always encouraged people to do is to look at their day in a series of meals. And I typically like to see people eat anywhere between 5, even up to 8 meals a day, but small and all within a contained calorie count. So let's say, for example, let's just pretend 2,000 calories is exactly what you need to consume to stay right as you are.
Sure.
So in order for you to inspire fat loss or to go in lipolysis and to begin to consume body fat for energy, you have to create a deficit. It's just the law of thermodynamics. So if you create a deficit, then your body's going to make up that deficit through stored energy, right? Because it has to have 2,000 calories. It's your resting metabolic rate. So timing your food is pretty important because if you want to maximize the way that your body metabolizes and burns fat, you want to constantly keep it fed so that it's focusing in on converting nutrients that are available. You don't really want it going after your muscle mass. So what I always tell people to do is that never skip breakfast. You always want to make sure that you jumpstart your metabolism in the morning. I always typically recommend that a good percentage of your carbohydrates and fats come from morning meals. This will give you the glucose in the blood in order to elevate your blood sugar, give you the energy to start your day. But also the fat will give you satiety. It'll make you feel a little bit full and probably carry to your next meal, which will typically be around 200 calories, right? You want to like do some kind of bar or something like that. So I like to time things out in 2 to 3 hour intervals. From the time I wake up, I eat within a half hour, and I recommend that most people do that if that's their specific goal. In regards to general health and weight loss, it would be appropriate to eat within the first half hour. And then I typically end my last meal somewhere around, just because of my schedule, between 7 and 8 o'clock at night. And that's okay. But what I typically tend to do, and I encourage most people to do, is limit the total number of carbohydrates that they're eating at night. Not because carbs are bad, or not because eating carbs after 6 is going to kill you or cause you to become fat. What it is that your body's energy needs are not the same when you're sleeping as they are when they're awake. So I typically front load my day with carbohydrates, and then I back load with the protein and fats. So timing those is pretty important, but it's not just timing, it's also about what you're eating and when. So that's a really complicated question, but the best way to answer it is absolutely, no matter what you're trying to accomplish, you most certainly do want to time your meals, and you want to keep your body consistent. You want to let it kind of know when you're going to feed it, unless you're training for something that requires it to be spontaneous. And unless you're in special forces, some kind of military program, or you're just nuts, it's usually not something that you'd do. So there you go.
Okay, cool. All right, good answer. Question 2. Do I need to be counting calories? And I think maybe they mean like those apps. MyFitnessPal is a popular one. Or journaling was a thing that people do.
Sure.
What are your thoughts?
So here's the basic rule of thumb. Do you want to see results? And if the answer is yes, then you have to count calories. If you don't care, then don't count calories, because then it won't matter anyway. The reason you need to count calories is because the way that we consume food nowadays, and how readily available it is, and how deceiving it is with caloric density versus nutrient density, it's really almost depressing how quickly your calories add up. So I always like to tell people that you want to go for about a 500 to 700 calorie deficit if your goal is weight loss. If you're in athletic performance, you want to kind of be net neutral. You don't really want to have a deficit because you want your body to be optimal. And if you're trying to gain weight, or if you're trying to gain lean body mass, or you're just trying to become fat, the best thing to do is consume more calories a day than you burn. It's just the simple law of thermodynamics. It's energy in versus energy out. So I think to better answer that question, and with a short amount of time, is to tell you what a calorie is. A calorie is just basically a kilocalorie. is a unit of energy that can raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree. It's really just a form of energy, and our bodies use that and convert that energy through various forms in our cell structures. So, and I'm making that super simple. So what I like to always remind people that because you are in the realm of reality where laws apply, like thermodynamics, that if you really want to maximize your results and you want to see the most benefit from the programs that you're engaging in for either weight loss or even strength training or marathon running, it doesn't matter what it is, caloric value to your resting metabolic rate are really, really important. So absolutely you need to count calories. MyFitnessPal is a fantastic tool to use. It's simple, it's easy, it's relatively accurate, even though it has a wiki kind of a database. If you just cross-reference it with Calorie King, you probably find that it's usually accurate, and sometimes it's not. But I personally use MyFitnessPal. I think I've logged in for 1,356 days as of today in a row. So absolutely, count calories. It's not a hindrance, it's not a burden, it's not an irritant. It's all the way that you look at it. I look at it as a positive resource in a world where calories just add up really quickly. Leverage those tools and take ownership.
Nice. Okay.